Hey StarCrafters, thanks for tuning in. It's me again, and this is that game that I referenced in Me versus the Amazing, the Day 9 Daily Funday Monday. Protoss are not allowed to build pylons in their main base, and if you watch the daily, which you should, I did not get picked, so no surprise there, but this is the game I thought I would show you. And my opponent for this one is Samorix. He is the Zerg player. We are on Backwater Gulch, and I like this map because the center here kind of looks like the map is frowning at me. I think that's funny. So right away, my first pylon comes down here at the bottom of this ramp so that I can wall off this small choke here, and then eventually wall off this small choke here, instead of, building it out here so I could wall up this ramp, probably take the same number of buildings, probably about the same space. But why make it easy on yourself? It's more of a challenge if you add to the challenge and do it wrong. My plan, of course, being to wall off here, and then fortunately there's these destructible rocks here that you can just break down when you're ready to move out. So that's the plan. We can see Samorix is taking his expansion at, what is he at, 15 food? Maybe it probably went down at 14-ish. And getting his spawning pool up already, then a geyser. All normal, good. We're going to look at the APM spammage real quick, and about the same, currently 0. He was just thinking about it, I guess. And let's leave the production tab open so you guys can kind of see what's going on. We see I did my cybernetics core here. That is a non-wall off apparently. So good on me. And my throat is still scratchy, by the way. I've been mentioning that in my last few videos. It turns out I didn't just have a scratchy throat. I have a summer cold, apparently. Like, who gets a cold in July? I do. I must have run into some kind of virus that Wookiees are susceptible to while I was fixing the hyperdrive on the Millennium Falcon or something. But here is my expansion going down. This, of course, is not a Forge Fast expand like I did in the last game, where you would think that would be the better idea, but I'm not saying I'm full of good ideas. But I do have this drone blocked in here now, and you can see I'm doing this crazy wall off, getting my warp gate technology, and I'm going to chase this drone around. There's the stalker, so the drone's days are numbered, and there you go, punches his ticket. Forge finally comes down so I can start adding some cannons to this mix. You see one's going to go here, and the stalker's going to sit on it. He thinks it's a cooling fan, maybe a bidet. But now I'm kind of in this walled in mode. I've got this little choke here that I think units can get through. Not completely sure. We'll have to find out. I am taking the left eye of the frowny face. Well, it's on the right side, but if this frowny face were an actual face, it would be the left eye, because he's like laying down and looking up. But anyways, I do try to get a proxy pylon in here, which is quickly discovered and taken out by many speedlings with their cricket-like or grasshopper-like back legs. Expansion is up and running. For Samorix, he's making 11 roaches. Do you see that? 11 at one time. And that's why the Zerg suck, because they can do things like that. And here they come. He is massing them up behind his spine crawler wall and going to be moving out. Takes a poke at the watchtower just to see, and look at what Wookie did. Oh my goodness, walling off like that's a base over there, and that's not a main base, so I'm allowed to build pylons there. And here come the Zerglings. They're going to take a look and see, and completely avoid that cannon, not take any damage. We're going to slow it down to normal speed because the action is happening. And there is a dead stalker. No, not a... No, yes, a dead... No, not... Yes. No. Yes. No. Yeah, yes, a dead stalker. Finally, the force fields come in. Roach is still in range of this poor gateway, who was sacrificially built at the front of the wall there. But the high ground advantage is mine. It does no good for that gateway. But these roaches are going to have a hard time getting in here. They have to file in, single file in. So I'm going to take some collateral damage on some buildings, but otherwise be okay. No up the ramp for you. These poor stalkers. Getting that green gooey bile on them. And I'm going to call that a late withdrawal of roaches. Probably could have started that withdrawal a little earlier, saved a few, but hey look, now that I have an easy way out, I don't have to break down my backdoor rocks, and the robotics bay comes in. The second is getting saturated. There's a button. Which button is it? Oh, come on. This one? Harvesters. So you can see I've made 38 to 30, 39 to 30 harvesters now. So I'm actually ahead, and oh look, I counter pushed. I missed that kind of while I was looking for the L button or the income button or whatever it is. There's some force fields not really being effective. And did I try to kill that? No. Okay. I usually try to kill the animals. I don't know what I was thinking here, because I'm pretty sure he only has these this handful of roaches. I could win the game here if everything is up here doing this. I could probably push this and win. But once that production cycle finishes, now it looks a little more scary, and I'm probably going to pull out of here. I happen to know that for a fact because we're at 13 minutes, and I know when the game ends, so I knew that wasn't going to be a victory for me. But working on a contain here, I've rebuilt my proxy pylon. I am styling because I've got a third base starting to get minerals. I have walled in at the front. Look at that. It looks kind of like a main base. And Samorix's third is not saturated at all yet, though he will have the benefit of additional larvae from this location. Let's go back to the production tab. You can see I'm working on an Immortal and Ground Weapons 1, finally. 14 minutes. Overlord hanging out in the back, which may be able to scout later. He's going to see nothing, because there's nothing there. And suddenly, I don't have much of a contain here. I'm going to assume that while I was looking around the map, some roaches came out and killed half of my stuff. You're welcome for that expert observer, commentator, observing and commentating. And now we've got Hydras in the mix, and Hydras are a big damage unit. I spent a lot of time getting up this base and doing some macro that probably could have been used pushing this main. There's a whole round of sentries warped in. I think I'm on 7 gates, because I got 3 here, and I got 1, 2, 3, 4 here. That's a total of 7. And here we go. The sentries, not the best place for the sentries. You don't want to get that close to the Hydras, really. Like, force fields don't quite have the range when your sentry's on this side of the force field and the Hydras are on that side. The sentry's going to die. And I only managed to get 1 Immortal in there, and of course he's got a much larger force of roaches and Hydras, so this is going to go poorly for me. No charge on the Zealots, no blink on the Stalkers, everything's still 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, zeros all around. And this clued me in. Did you see that guy running from this direction? That clued me in that he had a base. Oh, yeah. Even if I missed it with this observer, I'm not sure if my observer saw that, but I knew he had a base over here when I saw units stream in, so I put down some pylons, and this is all cannons. My thinking being that his rallied units will come by, hit this cannon, he'll stop to try to kill him, and he'll run into these cannons. So that's my hope, anyway. And meanwhile, he's pushing my natural. Big bully. And I have some units on the map, maybe? Do I have... Oh, I think... Am I pushing... That was probably a warp in over there, or maybe it was a run-up, I don't know. But my natural is getting sacked. My upgrades ceased, and here is this ridiculously powerful force for the small numbers that it is, because those Hydras do way too much damage. Look at how quick the pylon goes down. Unpowering all my buildings. Oh no. And gonna try to make a stalker defense. Of course, it's always a good tactic to leave your stalkers to where only 2 or 3 of them are actually in range of the units and the rest are in the back trying to get closer but failing to, until your opponent has a nice good concave on the ramp. And that's how you want to defend a ramp, especially with stalkers. But you can see I was successful in taking out that. So a completely even trade, all of my production buildings for his hatchery, and now my looks like all my probes and my nexus are gonna die. So over here, what are we doing? We're just rebuilding our base. We're gonna remain over here. because it's allowed, and we're going starport. So here is the death of the natural. So sad. So sad. And we can see my 3 gateways in production, another void ray, and this I can't even defend. I am not allowed to. I can't build anything there. So Samorix is going to run in here, probably a little baffled, a little wondering why nothing is going on there, but counter push. I warped in as many stalkers as I could from here and sent them this way. We can see another group of stalkers coming from here. And since his entire army is, you know, out killing my base, I figure I would come in here and kill his base. That seems fair to me. Stalkers do pretty well against roaches, so that should go. Oh, sorry about that there. That was a computer chair kind of leaning back too far. Me going, woo, trying not to spill out of my chair moment as my stalkers clean up that production cycle of units. Here comes some more from the main. And you don't need to micro. I mean, micro is for pros. And back at my base, bum, bum, ba-da. That's the sound from The Price is Right when the wheel lands and they go over what the opponent has. You get a little bump, bump, ba-da. Now the void rays are in the mix, so stalkers and void rays. I'm going to clean up this this natural here, and we're going to see Samorix. He's done sacking my natural. I mean, he left me a couple of unpowered buildings, you know, but he's satisfied there. And he's going to run back up to here because he knows I've got cannons. And I have to believe that he believes I expanded up here. So I warped in some sentries just to send him over to his natural. And they got caught, and unfortunately, I guess I was doing something else, but I've back off. 1 clutch force field keeps all that on the low ground. And I've got 2 sentries and 3 cannons, 4 cannons. Here comes another round of all sentries, I believe. And I'm going to defend this as hard as I can, because if I can keep this army here, it means all this stuff gets to live for a little while. And I don't know why I brought it all back here, but I did. So he goes away. I've managed to successfully defend my not base. I'm taking some little pokes, throwing water balloons down there on the Zerg army. But I've got enough sentries here, I should be able to indefinitely force field off that ramp. So I sit up here and take my shots as long as I can until he goes away. And now I'm up here sacking his main. So that worked out greatly to my advantage, because I believe he believed I had a base here. And you can see he is finally bringing his army home to try to save his bacon. There's bacon probably in this overlord right here. And they are just slow rolling on that no creep, and I'm going to go ahead and get as far away from them as possible so that I live as long as possible. And give my sentries and my other warped in units, because they have to run from all the way back here. I have to warp them in on the low ground because I've got no proxy pylon, so it's a long run. And you can see he had enough hydras and roaches to take out my entire force, but here come the reinforcements. And since he is just about out of minerals, well, I say that, but look at his bank. Wow, he's got monopoly money there. So now I am trying to press the advantage. I want to win the game, obviously. I think I can win it here, but his army is just a skosh too big, so I let it go. I'm pretty confident he's on that one base and that there shouldn't be much money there. So I suspect he will try to retake his natural. But I need more units. I can't just throw a handful of sentries or whatever at his entire army. So we're regrouping, and look at what he does. He's taking his army back over here and doing a little bit of a drone move. I think he's going to try to expand. But because I defended this with my sentries so fervently, I'm pretty sure he's coming up here to try to kill my base. And I see him. He gets into range of my here, so I'm going to do a warp in and try to defend this again. And he's sending drones down here to expand, it looks like. That's funny. And so I pick that time to attack his main again, and I take these stalkers, and I'm just trying to run them around the cannons as much as I can. He takes out the pylons, depowers, but he's going to come back here and see no nexus. So I was stalling as long as I could. You can see no production for anybody, but I mean, those are it. That's it. He's got 5 roaches and those 3 hydras. That's all he's got. Not doing much mining here, and all of a sudden I've got all this stuff in his base. So he gives me a clever GG and leaves the game. So yay! That was an interesting back and forth. I didn't really execute anything well, but it worked. And I think blocking this off and remaining over here was my saving grace in that game. And I woohoo growl as the Wookie, because when he left the game I'm like, I can submit this, woo! So I wanted to throw that in there in case it made it on the internet. But thanks for tuning in, guys. I appreciate it. Good luck, have fun on your ladder games.